So our speaker for today is Ms. Arfa Zaini, a clinical psychologist. For your information, Ms. Arfa has received a clinical psychology degree in University Kebangsaan Malaysia, and she also has a master's in counseling from UNIMAS. Ms. Arfa is also a certified practitioner of Civic psychological tests and a qualified train-the-trainer coach. She is currently pursuing her PhD at University Putra Malaysia, and she has had 15 years worth of experience counseling individuals with mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, adjustment issues, relationship, suicidal tendencies, and career counseling. Besides that, Ms. Arfa also has taught in several private institutions in Selangor and Kuala Lumpur. She is currently a counselor and clinical psychologist at a private facility in Selangor. And she's also a health coach at the Naluri Hidup Sendirian Berhad. Besides that, Ms. Arfa is also a member of the Mental Health and Psychosocial Services Mercy Malaysia, and in her free time works as a volunteer offering psychological first aid. So without further ado, let me invite Ms. Arfa to begin today's session.
Thank you, Kitara. Thank you, everybody. Good evening to everybody. Quite a good turnout today. So thank you, Kitara, for the introduction again. And let me just start sharing my okay, are you seeing this, Kitara? Is this okay?
Yep, we can see your slides.
All right.
No problem.
Excellent. All right. So let me just start myself as well because I tend to do this. Okay, let me just start. Okay, all right. So welcome to today's discussion. The topic today is we'll be sharing about or maybe discussing about psychological well-being among senior citizens. All right, let me just begin with this quote. I think this is quite apt from WHO. It says that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So, which is to say that well-being basically covers everything else. It doesn't mean that when we are free from disease or difficulties or health reasons, doesn't mean that we are healthy. Okay, there's a lot of other aspects that we have to look into. So this is basically my talking points. You're gonna see a little bit about what senior citizen is, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about psychological well-being of the senior citizen in the aspect of body, mind, and emotion, because that's what it is. It's encompass every aspects of our life. A little bit, if you are a senior citizen, okay, this is something for you on how you can manage yourself in terms of with all the changes that we have, into our current life. Okay. However, if you are a say a family member or a caregiver of somebody who is a senior citizen, Chapter 4 is probably where you want to pay attention more. Okay. And then a little bit of summary, and we ended up with a discussion, question and answer, recommendations, suggestions, sharing of your own experiences is very much welcome if you have the time. Okay. All right. So the first one, let us look at a little bit of statistic, of course. In Malaysia itself, okay, this statistic is in Malaysia only, okay. As of 2000, I think this is statistic from 2019. We have yet to receive our 2020 review, okay. So there's about 3.5 million people, okay, elderlies aged 65 and above, and that encompasses about 7% of Malaysian population. Not that much, but when you look at the numbers, 3.5 million is actually quite a lot, right? The average Malaysian lifespan is 77 years. Okay, so we know that retirement age is about 60 to 65 years old. I know some are still working at the age of 70s. So we're looking at about a decade plus of life after retirement. So that is actually quite a lot, isn't it? And it is shame to see that a lot of our, not a lot, maybe some of our senior citizens or elderlies that are not able to live well, reaching out after retirement age. Okay. All right. So a little bit of definition of senior citizen. Okay, some would say it's age 60, some would say it's 65, but it's averagely it's about that age. Okay, 60s and above. So when we talk about senior citizen, how there's a change in lifestyle, change in the way we eat, the way we do things, the activities, the routine that we have, change in, I say we as if I am a senior citizen, but I usually use that. I'm not that far off anyway. So change in priorities, when we are, probably adult at my age, probably are more concerned about probably building up our career. Okay, I can see a few faces just now when we were taking photos, and I can see that a lot of I I have a feeling that we're about the same age range. Okay, so I guess right now the priority is probably our career, a little bit of family as well. However, when we go into that stage, the golden years, as we say, there's a little bit of change in priorities. Work may not be, or career may not be as important, or may not be the focus now, but we're more focused on the family, building up friendship, not building, as in maintaining the friendships that we have over the years, and maybe contributing more to the community. Okay, so okay, this is the part where I'll talk a little bit about psychological well-being, and I want to touch on these two stages from Erickson. So Erickson introduced, if this is new to you, Erickson introduced 8 stages of psychosocial developmental stages, but for the sake of today's discussion, I'm just going to touch on the last 2 stages. Okay, there's eight from birth until death. Okay, but basically, because we're talking about senior citizens, the last 2 stages are generativity versus stagnation and integrity versus despair. So what is this stages exactly? Okay, so generativity versus stagnation is when, according to Erickson, we go through these stages in our life, and he sort of like have an estimation of age range for each of the stages. Okay, so for generativity versus stagnation, this is where I think maybe the late adulthood, okay, what we call late adulthood, middle adulthood, about 40s to 65 years old. Okay, and then integrity versus despair is 65 to death. Okay. So under generativity versus stagnation, I'm going to go into it a little bit more after this. This is the stage where we start to think about how can I contribute to the world? What can I do to contribute to the community around me? And in the last stage of the developmental stages, this is when older people or elderly senior citizens start to look back at their life and try to reflect, and they ask themselves, did I live a meaningful and satisfying life? What have I done throughout my life, and was it meaningful? Okay, am I satisfied with what I have done? Okay, so basically psychological well-being in definition is of us feeling good, happy, contented, and we're able to function well because of this good feeling that we have. Okay, and it encompasses all of this. It includes all 3: body, mind, and emotion. Right? So I'm gonna talk more on the 2 stages later on when I go in depth. Okay, but right now, just look at how, as a senior citizen, this is what probably is what they are facing right now as they age. Okay, body. Uh, we're looking at. Okay, this is, I think, most of the reality. There's more focus on our health. Ailments, gonna look whether, what sort of chronic disease that we have, hypertension, diabetes. Some would probably have an experience of stroke, cardiac disease, and all these sorts of things. As the change in our structure, in bone structure, so probably mobility is probably an issue right now. I know when I look at my mom, she has difficulty walking quite a distance. It has something to do with her feet, and I know some elderlies who, because of the bone density and all, easily fall. We'll talk about fall later on. And also, all of these physical changes, due to old age. Okay, this is, where are they when they look at this, when they are in under this condition? Are they able to do things as well as they did before, or what kind of difficulties that they are facing because of this? And because of that, what is the relation to their emotion? How do they feel when they feel like, now I cannot walk so much? After retirement, I was dreaming of going off traveling the world, but right now I can't do it because of the condition I'm in. So how would that affect their emotion? Yeah? So of course, all of this relate to each other. In terms of mind, we would see some citizen, especially towards 70s, 80s, a little bit problem with remembering things. They're probably able to accurately remember what happened to them when they were younger. They will be able to tell stories about their children, about us, the children or the grandchildren. But daily things, like they forget where they put their glasses, they forget where they put their keys, and this happens. Okay, we see that, and because of that, let's look at how they think. Because of the condition that they are in, what is happening in their life, the significant events, the losses that they experience, how would that affect their mindset? Okay, and emotion, of course, all of these things leads to how would they feel about their condition right now. Okay, what about their fears? What about their anxiety? About things. Are they, they're already, some of them are already thinking that this is the end. I'm going to go soon. What do I need to do? What do I need to do for my family? What else haven't I done? All those sort of things that they wish they can do before they pass on. Okay, so at this age as well, I think a lot of senior citizens are probably, especially women, I think, because we're more in touch with our feelings. The emotion is quite fragile, and it's so easy to feel hurt, when hearing comments from people, and that would eventually lead to change of mindset, and then their behavior. Okay, all right. So this is the third part where I will spend probably more time on this. We're talking about management of senior citizen. Okay. Remember this? Okay, so basically the management that I'm trying to deliver after this is based on this. Okay, remember I say that generativity. Okay, generativity is basically okay. This is how do I say? Erickson says that generativity versus stagnation. So there are two, I guess, spectrum. Okay, a person or individual aged 40 to 65 years old can be positive, can have positive outlook of life. This is where we put it in as generativity. Okay, and if they are not productive, they are not able to contribute, or they have difficulties contributing, this is when they go into that stagnant stage. Okay, and they feel like there's nothing I can do, I don't know how to do this, that kind of thing. So let's look at how, under generativity and stagnation, how a senior citizen, if you are in this category right now, what can you do, or what should you try to do, okay, to improve your well-being. Okay, the first one is probably for someone who has a positive outlook, who feels like I am contributing to the world. Okay, I have done so much. I'm still doing so much. Because at this age, 40s to 65, I guess. This is where we start to think about mentoring, teaching other people, because we have skills, we have knowledge that we want to impart. And we feel like, oh, this is the right time for me to facilitate all this information that I have. I want to mentor somebody, I want to teach, I want to share this knowledge, I want to do things based on my skills and knowledge, and I want to volunteer. Okay, so if you look at it, closely, what all these things that I've listed is basically, fall under parenting. Because you feel like you want to guide somebody, you want to mentor somebody, you wanna impart your knowledge and skills, and you can do this through parenting. Okay. And I'm not saying that because there's a lot of people out there who choose or may not be able to parent, or they choose not to have children. But there are a lot of other ways that they do this, other ways, other opportunities for them to actually share and, I guess, get the goals of sharing and mentoring, facilitating people. Okay. So at this stage, when the adult have all this good feeling of sharing and everything, they feel motivated. They have motivation to initiate and maintain healthy behavior. So basically, when they feel like, okay, I'm feeling good, I want to do this, so there's that intrinsic motivation in them that would encourage them to actually practice or live or use a healthy lifestyle, which immediately be able to increase their health quality. Okay, and because of this greater productivity, they actively participate in the community. They have good relationship with people. I know at this age, I've seen some adult who starts to, about 50s, 60s, because I see this in my parents as well as they age. My dad, for example, he spent more time, because he used to probably go for 1 or 2 prayers at the mosque, but right now he's actually in the last stage. He's going to be 70 next year, so he prayed 5 times in the mosque. Okay, so I can see the change of routine that he has. But the thing is, I think the way he went there for the community, because he does a lot of things at the mosque as well. So I guess that is part of volunteering, that is part of working in the community or contributing to the community. Okay, and also building or maintaining the relationship that he has with his friends. Okay, greater fulfillment. Okay, obviously, when we contribute, we feel a sense of fulfillment. We feel contented. We feel like our life is complete because I'm able to do this. Okay, but imagine someone who doesn't have the opportunity to actually be productive. Okay. What if someone has lack of motivation to initiate productivity? They feel like, I'm stuck. Remember this? How can I contribute to the world? And they feel like I cannot contribute because I don't have anything. Either it's because of their own self-esteem or because of the past event, or this could be, this could come from the earlier stages, or significant events that happen in the earlier stages of life that affect how they develop later on. So they feel lack of motivation. They feel like, I don't want to do this, I can't do this. Okay. With lack of motivation, and they feel like they don't want to move. Okay, they don't want to meet people. They don't feel like they want to go out and enjoy themselves with their friends. Maintaining to withdraw, to be withdrawn. Okay, so imagine there's people who doesn't go out and just stay at home and not meeting people. Feeling you know, maybe having regrets over the past decisions that they have made in their life. They feel the boredom, they feel overall life dissatisfaction, and how this could eventually lead to poorer health and lower relationship quality. Okay, all right. So for integrity, we're looking at this is the last stage, which is the 65 to death. This is when the senior citizens start to think, did I live a meaningful and satisfying life? So basically, integrity is more like how they accept and be contented with what they have done. Okay, remember? Did I live a meaningful life? So if they feel like, yes, I did live a meaningful life. Okay, so they accept the fact and they feel very happy and completed and contented about it. Okay, so they reach that ego integrity part. Okay, where they feel that I feel so good about myself. Okay, I've contributed enough. I've done well. I've had children who perform well in their life. That kind of thing. So. Or probably think that I've contributed enough to the community. I feel good about myself. Okay, and they feel that sense of peace and fulfillment. Okay, they feel like I have wisdom. Okay, no regrets, or probably lack of regret or less regrets. Okay, or if they do, they probably be able to cope with it. Okay, and wisdom, they reach that stage where I guess can look at things and smile and not react to it, but instead respond to it in a more in a more wiser way. Okay, so they probably have informed and detached life concern. They know which one they want to focus on. They probably have make peace with the fact that I'm going to leave this world soon. As I said earlier on, right? But okay, imagine a senior citizen who who feels like they didn't reach that. My life has not been meaningful. What have I done? And they start to reflect back and see, what have I done so far? Did I do anything good for the world, for the people I love in my life? Okay, and this is when they start to have that despair. Okay, so this is where we want to look at, because a lot of things such as significant life events such as losses, bad decisions, past regrets, all of this may lead to depressive symptoms. We've seen senior citizens with low moods, feeling of hopelessness. They look sad most of the time. They feel that they're worthless, hopeless, helpless. They feel like, I can't go on. Is this the kind of life that I want to live? But they don't know how to get out of it. They just feel like there's nothing else to do. There's nothing else to do but just wait for the inevitable to come. Okay, so these depressive symptoms is something that we want to focus on. We want to have a look at if this is if people under your care, the elderlies under your care, or if you yourself, okay, have this sort of feelings, okay, this is something that you want to focus on and try to get help with, okay. um, Ruminate over mistakes, regrets of life. So basically, all of this will lead to decreased satisfaction. And when an individual feel like they're not satisfied with their life, they don't know what to do. So this basically affect coping skills and resiliency. Okay, all right. So areas of emphasis. This is something that senior citizens would probably want to focus on. Okay, healthy diet. As we change, as the body change, the physiology change, the metabolic rate slowing down. Senior citizens would probably want to pay more attention to how they eat. Probably want to eat moderately, more nutritious food. You can eat everything, but in a lower quantity. That kind of thing. Get more of nutritious food. Be careful about supplements. I've talked to a lot of adults who are caring for elderly people, and some of them are talking about, I know I learned about these supplements. I want to give my parents, I want to give my mom and dad these supplements. What do you think? And I always say that always check with your doctor. There's a lot of supplements, even not only for the senior citizens, for us as well, the adults and also children, and a lot of supplements that claim that they can heal a certain condition, or they can increase a certain increase your health level. But always, I would say, always check with your doctor whenever you want to decide on taking on supplements. Okay. Healthy lifestyle. I always encourage senior citizens, okay, if I have the chance to talk to them, my family members, my relative, my mom and dad, my uncles and aunties. Probably I really encourage them to move. Mobility is very important. I've seen how I guess in the olden days, or I've seen more of this in certain areas, like or in a certain family, because it's a culture that whenever a senior citizen, whenever our parents get to the golden age, and we care for them and we worry so much of them, that we say that after retirement, you just sit at home, don't do anything, we'll do everything for you. You just sit there and relax, you can watch TV. You don't go around and do things. This is where we want to be careful. This is what we want to watch out for, because I would say that get them moving. Senior citizens need not to just stay in bed all day long watching soap opera on TV, or just have people fussing over them, sending them food. If they can move, let them move. I encourage that. Okay, so but also get them to sleep as well. Okay, but not too much sleep. At one point, I remember my dad, my own experience. At one point, I think in the beginning of his retirement age, my dad was enjoying his retirement age, and he wasn't doing anything at all. He was just lying around, watching TV, sports channel after sports channel, game after games. He just sat there and he gained weight. And I said, this is not. And then he slept like he take longer naps during the day, and then he slept early at night. I was like, I got worried. Okay, so that's when I introduced things, like you should be doing something. You should be doing projects. You should be doing something. Move around. Okay, I know I have an uncle who is 80 years old, and he is still, because when he was younger, he jogs every day. So now at age 80, he walks. Okay, I think almost every day. I think he still does it. You go out in the morning, just walk a bit around his neighborhood, and then maybe go buy breakfast and then come back home. And he is still healthy, okay? And that is something that we want to encourage our parents, senior citizens to do, okay? Daily routine, wake up, sleep time, exercise, hobbies. There's a lot of it. Because of old age, we know that how fragile the bone is. We may not encourage them to do rigorous exercise, but there are a lot of type of exercise that they can do safely. They can sit and move around, exercising. The world is our oyster. The internet is good resource of exercises that older people can do. Okay, get them to do their hobbies. If they love gardening, let them, encourage them to do that. Okay. Medical checkup. I guess this is quite normal for senior citizens. They have, I guess, monthly medical checkup, the follow-ups, and we encourage them to adhere to what the doctor says. Okay. Vaccination. Okay. I know that we have this COVID vaccination and all, but actually Malaysia, okay, have immunization program not only for children. Okay, we always have this thought that only children need vaccination, but actually adults, okay, adults and elderly people also have their own immunization program. If you go to this http://myhealth.gov.my, they will tell you what this vaccine is for. Look at this example. This is the table. Adult age less than 65, adult age more than 65, how much of this vaccine that they may need. Okay, so basically this is recommended. Okay, it's not compulsory like when we were children, but if you can get your parents or yourself to get this type of vaccination, it'll be good. Okay, all right. So, and last one, be mindful. This is usually the time that we want to, connect back to the faith, to our faith, look back, to what we believe in, okay? And we want to focus more on mental health. What are we feeling right now? Is this normal, feeling sad every day? Is this something that everybody else feel, so this is where we want to focus on. Okay, all right. Civic engagement, as I said, participate in community, volunteer, take on a project. Okay, take responsibility. I guess this is probably to fight or manage boredom. Okay, take on a project, whatever project it may be. Okay, it can be something as simple as gardening, or it can be something as like caring for pets, that kind of thing. Learn and share. So learn new skills and or teach others your skill. I have an uncle who reached his retirement. Okay, he retired, and he's a what do you call that? A pilot. He was a pilot, so he retired. And I guess Chun he retired during the MCO. Right before MCO, he retired, and then he picked up a new hobby. And guess what he's doing now? He's sewing. So it was such a surprise to us all. He started learning just from the internet on how to sew. He got himself a sewing machine and he started with curtains, and then he expand to making clothes, and now he sew what do you call that, baju Melayu, jubah, pants for his children, for his brothers, for his sister, for his family, grandchildren. So it's something that is really exciting. And I see that I've never in my mind thought that a pilot would learn how to sew. Okay, that's my uncle for you. And his And this is something very, very positive that I really like to see in senior citizens. Really, as I said, the world is really your oyster, okay? Your life doesn't end at retirement, okay? Strengthen relationship. So of all the relationships that you've had in your life, those that you managed to maintain through the years. Okay, so this is basically something that you want to focus on. I have an auntie who is really I see how she maintained her relationship with a group of friends, how they went out for outings, they celebrate special days together, and these are all, as I said, senior citizens. Okay, and it's exciting, and I'm also excited to go into this next level age. Okay, reframe thoughts. Okay, this is something that probably not easy to do, but with practice, it can be done. We want to focus more on the lesson learned rather than dwell on what we could have done differently in the past. Okay, because you can't change what had happened, but you can definitely change the way you look at things. Okay, so try to learn how to reframe thoughts, how to restructure negative thoughts. This is something that can be useful. Practice gratitude, be grateful for what you have rather than wallowing over what you don't have. I've known some I've had experience of being in sessions with some senior citizens who feel like that their life has not been meaningful enough, and they feel and they heard comments from other people around them saying that they are very bitter, you know, like they're very stern and bitter towards their children, towards their grandchildren, and in session the person basically talk about, you know, past experiences that made them to feel that way, you know. So we work on how to reframe thoughts, reframing thoughts and all that, and they are able to be more thankful of what they have right now rather than look at what they should have done in the past. Okay, so last part, which is for the family and caregiver, what can they do to support a senior citizen? Encourage productivity. If you're caring for your parents, elderly parents, you want to encourage productivity. Don't stop them from doing things that they probably enjoy. Okay, rather think about how they can do it safely. Okay, accompany them to hospital visits, or if you can't, provide ways and opportunities for them to do it themselves. Right now in Malaysia, I've seen, I cannot remember what's the name of the services. I think it's Teman or something. It's something to do with Teman. So this service is basically sort of like the escort service. Okay, so these young people who actually accompany or escort elderlies to hospital visits, to go their grocery shopping, or to basically just as they accompany them. Okay, so it's very interesting to see that in Malaysia we are starting to see a lot of services like this that is helping the senior citizen. There's also daycare center. It's basically like daycare center for children, but these are for elderlies. So they can the children, the adult children, can send their parents to daycare center, where they can meet other elderlies and have fun with them. You know, and then learn. This is where you can find out resources, you know, find out ways or places or services, resources that is available for elderly. Learn about prevention of falls, because this is rather an important topic. My own dad has fallen over the past 5 years. Yes, fallen for a couple of times. So this is where we basically need to learn more about what can we do to help them. Okay, early identification. So be aware of signs of depression, anxiety. Okay, get help, know where to get help, find information related to this. Empathy. Okay, this is the least that you can do, which is be kind, listen, care, make them feel that they are still useful. Okay, make them feel that they can still do things. And because some uh, elderlies that I talk to, they say that my children doesn't allow me to do this and do that. I love. They say that I love. For example, making kueh, traditional kueh, and I don't like, to buy kueh. But my children would tell me that no need, mom, you don't have to go to all the trouble. We can buy you. But I want to eat the kueh that I myself made. So they feel like, you know the I guess the adult child feel like that you know don't trouble yourself, that you don't have to go through this. You've cooked kueh all your life, or you cooked throughout your life. Let us take care of you. In good meaning, with good meaning, that they feel like, no, you just rest so that we can take care of you. But for parents, they feel like this is diminishing my purpose. I still want to care. No matter what age you are, as in the children, I'm still the parent. I still want to do things for my children. So this is where we want to look back at how we help or care for our parents. Okay, I've heard a lot of comments, complaints from elderlies, or from elderly parents who are being taken care by their adult children. They say that, I can't do this, I can't do that, because they are afraid. I know that they are afraid that something bad might happen to me if I do this kind of activity. But I feel like I'm being confined. I can't do anything. So in the end, the parents or the elderlies feel like, I can't achieve many things in my life anymore at this time. So what do? I just sit and then get depressed. Okay, so a little bit on prevention of falls, how to reduce risk factors leading to falls. I think this is a special topic. I'm just going to touch a little bit of this, because in terms of caring for the well-being of senior citizens, this is rather important. Because a lot of times when something happened, like a fall, and then they broke their hip or their bone, or they have trouble, what do you call this, with mobility, they lost their function, can't walk easily. Some of them would feel like they lost their function of life. Okay, and they feel sad about it, because it's sort of like they lose something. Okay, that's the grief that they're going through. So it's good to actually pay attention on prevention of falls. Okay, environmental, try to get modify. If you have money, yeah, you can do big renovation or whatsoever that accommodate for those who are probably around my age. Okay, the adult age. Okay, when you're looking for homes, or when you're building your home, you probably want to think to the future. Like make sure that probably don't put split levels. Think about all the others. The width of the door, because there's a possibility that probably can a wheelchair pass through this door. You probably want to pay attention to the stairs, because you don't want that the stairs that has those hole in between. Okay, you may even want to think about not having stairs at home, because if you're thinking about living in that home for the rest of your life in old age, so that's something that you want to think about. Okay, public places modification, it's I guess not exactly our area, but we can always encourage or put a stress on it so that our city council can help with this. The pavement, whether it's walk friendly to the senior citizens, because we want to encourage them to have a healthy lifestyle. We want them to go walk, have a walk around neighborhood. But what if our neighborhood is not fit for them to walk? Okay. Talk about medication, because some side effects due to altered mechanism of absorption and metabolism due to the medication. So always talk to GP about this. Be aware of their medical condition, because some condition may cause may cause other condition that probably lead to fall. Okay. Food and exercise. So basically, this is what I've been talking about earlier on. Get them to exercise safely. Physical activities are important, but they have to do it safely. Okay. All right. Dealing with mental health issues in senior citizens. Okay, I want to show you a video. This is sort of like 3, 4, 5 minutes videos about talking. Okay, a lot of from my experiences talking to senior citizens who are depressed. A lot of them feel like I don't want to burden my children. I don't want to talk about this with my children, because they have their own life, they have their own difficulties, they have their own challenges. I don't want to burden them. So they don't tell. So they just keep to themselves. Okay. They don't want to talk to their friends because their friends is enjoying their life, or probably is going through the same thing, and they don't want to burden their friends as well. But we want to tell senior citizens that it's okay to talk. Okay, it's okay to talk. So I'm just gonna play this. I hope the sound is there.
My life was, to all outward appearances, extremely nice. I looked as if I had a very good life. But I could find myself feeling quite isolated, and I found that people were looking past me.
My wife had become blind, and I had assumed that I would be able to cope with that easily, which was not the case. It caused me some psychological and mental problems.
I was blocked. I knew what I wanted to do, but I wouldn't allow myself to do it, or I couldn't seem to find the energy to do it. The future didn't seem to be shaping up, and it was altogether rather difficult.
It was 60 years that I was living with my wife. When she passed, it was very heavy for me to believe this. I never liked to go out to join my friends, to be in touch with my friends, or to go for shopping. It is better that I stay at home and without any hope.
I went to my GP. She picked up on the fact that I was probably needing some help. I felt the person that I was dealing with was not understanding of me as a person, being an older person. I had to go back and say that it wasn't working. I found that being able to come into this space and talk to somebody who was not jumping up and trying to make it all right, who was not trying to tell me that I had no good reason to be sad, that helped me tremendously.
During these bad times, which was keeping me in house as a prisoner. I received a letter which was telling that, do you need help? This service send some specialists to help me at my home. I am feeling much better and I am very happy. I hope that I continue my normal life.
We need to spread the word that older people can get help through their GP, or they can go straight to the service itself.
The GP may refer you, but if he does not, you could easily have access to it by telephoning someone who make the arrangement for you.
Very few people of my generation are prepared to admit that they need help. I think that's very sad, and I think there's a need for enlightenment on that.
Okay, so let me just share again. So basically, that is an encouragement. I guess this video is an encouragement first for the senior citizen to actually I guess talk, not necessarily talk to professionals, because there's a good chance that they probably don't have that information, but they see their GPs, their doctors on, I guess, monthly visits, or maybe once in 3 months they see their GP, and if they are able to talk, to tell your GP the truth, like I've been feeling sad this past few days or this past few weeks, is this normal? Just a little bit of questions, just some GPs are really good at this when they ask questions, and they are able to detect this sort of feelings in elderlies, and they probably be able to extend help, okay, or give resources, like where to get help, or refer them to counselors or psychologists for therapies. But right now, I guess because of one of the advantages of I guess COVID is everything is made readily available online. We can learn, such as this webinar is made free for you to learn about this kind of information, and I believe that we have more information out there that you can reach out to. Okay, all right, so sorry, let's move on. So the takeaway for today is probably look at how the way the elderly people think and feel would contribute to their behavior, to their feelings, and how this thoughts, feelings, and behavior would definitely contribute to the psychological well-being. And as much as they are responsible for their own well-being, family and caregiver support are essential for senior citizens. We can help to support them. We can help to provide them information, opportunities for them to experience their life in a more quality way. Okay. One last quote from Eleanor Roosevelt: beautiful young people are accidents of nature, but remember, beautiful old people are works of art. Okay, without them, we're nothing, I guess. And one day we'll get to that age, and we are hoping that we will be able to live our life in a better way. Okay. Discussions, time for discussions. Any comments, suggestions, and questions are welcome. I'll probably return this back to Kitara. I hope this has been beneficial.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Arfa. So before we proceed with the Q&A, we just want to play a little short video on what we do at Act for Health. So a very quick video, and then we will proceed to the question and answer session.
Our mission is to provide a highly conducive venue for clinical research on aging and commercialization of research output. Other than that, we also want to deliver evidence-based tests and therapy to help our older clients strive towards healthy aging. We also want to deliver interdisciplinary training to ensure skills empowerment among alike health professionals, postgraduates, and public. Last but not least, we also want to raise public health awareness on aging population issues.
At Act for Health Services and Consultancy, we conduct various physical tests to determine mobility, strength, and balance among the elderly. The clinical setting of the center not only ensures safe and conducive administering of assessments, but also offers you all the facilities you will require. Our tests have been derived based on research conducted by our very own experts and have been shown to be highly efficient among older adults in Malaysia.
Do check our services and book an appointment for your lovely ones. Ultimately, you will play a large role in ensuring the best for our elders.
Okay, so that's a little bit on Act for Health. As you can observe on the screen, that's where we are based at, and our contact information is also available. Okay, so moving on to the question and answer session for today. Miss Arfa, we have a question from Adrian Leong. We have a few questions from Adrian Leong. I hope Adrian doesn't mind. We will address the most of your questions via email, but one that probably I would like to highlight is could you please speak about the preservation of mental health of caregivers of older person? Caregiving work is relentless and it takes so much out of caregivers mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, employment-wise, etc.
All right. Thank you, Adrian. That is a really good question. When we talk about we call this caregiver burden, not exactly burden, okay, but it's a responsibility. And being in a culture, in our community, I guess a lot of us are, we feel obligated to care for our elderlies. We want to help them. We want to be able to help them. So one basic concept that I would probably focus on is taking care of yourself. It's very, very important to care for yourself first, to care for your need, to look at what you need first before, because you can't be taking care of other people when you yourself are not feeling good, okay, when you yourself are not well. So the preservation of mental health of caregivers, I guess it's always have to look at yourself again as how would you preserve your own mental health, and with that, I can talk really long on this, but the basic thing is first you want to look at how you can take care of yourself. How you should take care of yourself first before you get the energy to do more and take care of the elderly. So focus on that. Take care of yourself, get help if you need, because a lot of people that I've talked to, they say that my brother and my sisters, all my brothers, my sisters doesn't want to take care of my dad. You know, I'm the only one who is responsible for this. I don't know what else I can do. As I've mentioned earlier on, there are a lot of services in Malaysia. So find out about this. You know, Kitara has just shown what Act for Health can do, what sort of help services that they have. I've mentioned about this. I think the name is Teman. I'm not so sure about it, but if you Google escort services or you know, for companion services for elderlies to do their daily chores, you probably find this. Sort of like a babysitter kind of thing. There are daycares out there. You know, it's a lot of other services or resources that is available in Malaysia. All you need to do is find out about it. Talk to doctors. I think medical doctors would probably have information about this. All of those working in the geriatric services would probably have information about this. Psychologists and counselors who work with elderly communities will probably have information about this as well. So remember, take care of yourself and then find out more about resources. Okay, I hope that answered the question.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Arfa. We also have another question on how do you tackle the mindset among senior citizens regarding the stigma about meeting a psychiatrist?
Okay. I guess the best way I can say about this, same goes to not only the elderlies, even us, the adults, and also some children's, okay? We have to normalize talking about mental health. You know, everywhere, you know, you listen to any kind of psychologist talking about fighting or managing stigma. We would say that please, 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 there's 46 of us here in this webinar. Go out there and start talking about mental health, okay? Mental health is the same as physical health. If you can say things like, you know, I'm not feeling well today, I have flu, you know, you can definitely go and say that I'm not feeling well today. You know, I've been feeling sad for the past few weeks, you know. So just tell people, you know, and the more people out there hear people talking about this, as I said, normalizing this, everybody else would probably feel like, hey, this is something, you know, it's, look at this person talking about how he has been feeling sad for a few weeks and he looks, it sounds okay. I mean, like, I didn't know that we can actually say that out loud to people, you know, and do that. Just look at mental illness or mental health difficulties as the same as physical health. Okay, all right.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Arfa. May I know if there's anyone has any questions they would like to bring up or ask? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question, or alternatively, you can even type out your question in the chat box. So meanwhile, while waiting, we have a few other questions that we received pre-webinar. What is the current available mental health support system for the elderly?
Okay. I can say that there's a lot. You know, a lot of any psychological centers, therapy center, you know, this is where you can reach out to. They probably don't advertise it as much. Some of them will probably advertise more about, you know, the adult and also children, mostly children. But if you were to ask, okay, they would probably be able to accommodate to that. There are centers especially in KL, I know in Klang Valley, there are a lot of centers that actually cater for elderlies. Okay, you just have to ask, do you have anything for, do you have services, do you cater for senior citizens? If their own center doesn't have, they probably would suggest you other centers. That's how we work, because we are all in this together. Talk to, as I said, your GP. They probably have the information. You can simply just Google, it'll probably, the chances are it will pop up on your screen that there are these type of services. You can go to hospitals, whether it's government or private, and you can request for this, especially any hospital who have a psychology clinic or psychological services. They would be able to help you with this. Okay, so the thing is, just ask.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Arfa. Another one that we received was, given the fact that mental health information today is generally disseminated virtually, and given the fact that digital illiteracy is a well-known problem faced by majority of the elderly in Malaysia, what is the best means to ensure that they get access to accurate, meaningful information, especially during this post-pandemic era where physical face-to-face methods are of limited use?
Okay, so what is the best means to ensure that they get access? Okay, to accurate, you said accurate, meaningful information. Okay, this is the problem that we have right now, right? A lot of I think we have all had this experience of our parents or our uncle and aunties forwarding messages or forwarding WhatsApp or articles on Facebook, with just someone writing in and we don't know who that someone is, giving information or giving advices of what to do, what to practice, what kind of food to eat, and you don't know how to verify whether these are actually accurate or correct information. And this is where us in the community, this is our responsibility. If you have parents like this, you got to tell them, you got to show them what kind of information is valid, what kind of information that you can trust, or better yet, where can you get this accurate information rather than simply believing whatever that they receive in their WhatsApp group. Okay, this is what I do for my parents. I usually ask them again, like, where do you hear this? And they say that, from WhatsApp, surau group or a club group, social clubs that they are, community club that they are involved in. My friends gave me, and they immediately believe it. For example, I'll just give you an example of remember when earlier on when we had COVID and everybody is saying that you have to practice drinking this type of drinks, you put in all this what do you call spices in your drinks and stuff like that, and then you put all these spices in a bowl and then put it in your room, and breathe into the air. It's gonna fight off the COVID virus, that kind of thing. And if it's harmless, okay, for me, if it's harmless, I don't mind. Like just simply putting spices in a bowl and put it in the room, I don't mind. Okay, but I would usually ask my parents, how is it working? Is it okay? And they need to see the evidence of what they believe in. So if they can't show me the evidence, I'll probably say, okay, that's hard to believe. Okay, I do a lot of thought challenging, but sometimes I have to remember that elderlies, they are rather sensitive. Sometimes they feel like children think that they know better, but they don't. And at some point we're not. Okay. the children, the adult children who are caring for senior citizens, we need to remember that the elderlies have their pride as well, and this is and because of their stage of life where they are more sensitive, we don't want to keep challenging them and tell them that this is wrong, you should not be doing this, you know, but rather I look at the thing that they're doing, whether it's harmful or not. If it's not harmful, then it's fine. You know, I will just let them do it. You know, just monitor them. You know, see if it's okay or not. You know, is it affecting their life? How much does it affect their life? You know, that kind of thing. But if it's harmful, that's when we intervene. Okay, so I guess to answer that question, again, just look at it, just see how it is, and we ourselves have to start providing the correct information. Okay, tell them gently that if we know that it's not right information, accurate information, tell them gently that this is not it, but also offer them the correct information and offer them, show them, okay, this is where you can actually get better information. Okay, always listen to your doctor. You know, you don't know whether an article written in a WhatsApp group, if it's written there, Dr. Arfa, but you have never heard of this Dr. Arfa. She's not a famous doctor. You don't even know what type of doctor is this Dr. Arfa. You know, is there a Dr. Arfa? You know, that kind of information. You know, so always tell them, you know, remind them and remind ourselves that take all the information that we have with a grain of salt. With this, you know, we just don't simply believe it 100%, but try to challenge it, and try to find evidence, whether, you know, if you've seen, if I say this, okay, for example, I talk about the 8 stages of the Erickson, but I only talk about 2 stages, and you're wondering, what about the other 6 stages? Is Arfa telling me the right information? Go Google, okay? Go Google Erickson's 8 psychosocial developmental stages and look at it, you know, whether I'm giving you the right information or not. Okay, so always back it up. Okay, I hope that helped.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Arfa. We still have a few more questions. Okay, so how do you cope with immobility and loss of dependence?
Oh, in elderly.
Yeah.
So I guess this is for the elderly.
Yes, correct.
Okay. How do you cope? For the elderly who is experiencing this, I guess try to find other ways to try to find other ways to look at things, because it's so easy, you know, the loss of mobility mean you are grieving. Okay, you're losing something, that you're losing your functions, and with that feeling of lost, okay, you probably feel sad, you feel like you know, I don't know what to do, you know, I'm hopeless, okay, I'm stuck, you know, how do I get help, how do I do things now, how do I carry on with my life after this. So get help, tell somebody that you need help. This is the first most important thing. Accept it, acknowledge that feeling that you have, accept it and get help. Okay, if you know that you have this sort of feeling, you can't handle this alone, you know, I can't move right now, so what sort of help is there for me? Find out. If you have access to doctors, tell them, you know, I have no one else to depend on, you know, I don't know what else I can do. Can you advise? Talk to someone. That is basically the first thing that you should do when you feel all of this overwhelming feeling of losing mobility, losing dependency. So talk to somebody. Chances are there are people out there who can actually offer you help. If you keep it to yourself, it's going to be difficult. People will probably either overlook you, Don't think that you need help. Think that you are okay. You know, talk to your friends, ask your friends, you know, if you have friends, talk to them, tell them that I need help. It's not easy sometimes for people to admit that they need help, but this is something that we need to normalize as well. This is another thing that I encourage everybody to normalize, which is tell people that we need help. Okay, of course we have to try ourselves, you know, is there things that we can do by ourselves, you know, find out ourselves, go Google, you know, that sort of help. But then if you still feel stuck, get help, talk to somebody.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else has any other questions? Okay, we have another two more. How do we communicate with elderlies who are very fixed in their own ways?
I get this a lot. Okay, this is a very interesting question, a very good one as well. You know how elderlies, they've had this length of life, you know, in experiences, and these are riches. Okay, their own riches, their experiences. They probably feel like, I know this, you know, I can do this, and they're so fixed in their way that they don't realize that the world is changing. Okay, what have worked for them in the past may not work right now in this current world that we're in. Okay, some would have trouble accepting this or seeing this fact that the world is changing, things needs to change. The way I parent my children may not be the same as, you know, my children parenting their children. Okay, so I would say listen to them. Okay, listen to them, listen to what they have to say. Okay, seek their opinion on things. Okay, you don't necessarily have to follow what they advise you, but the fact that you spend time to listen to them, that means something to them. Okay, sometimes elderlies, when I talk to children who care for the elderly, and they say that my dad, my mom doesn't want to listen to me, you know, we're trying to get them to eat healthily, but here they are still drinking teh tarik every day, morning and night, you know, eating all these cakes, you know, very, very sugary things. And at this age, and they are diabetic, and this is not something that we don't want to practice. Okay, but they don't listen. Okay, but you don't listen. How can I do this? How can I tell them that this is wrong? You know, and you would say that I would probably just, okay, um, in your presence, you probably want to practice that. You know, established a sort of like agreement with them. You know, if you are there, you know, or the type of food that you provide, okay, because you believe in this. Okay, you believe. I'm not a doctor. That was just an example. Okay, the WhatsApp. All right. So basically, I would try that in my presence. I would probably say, this is the sort or the type of food that I'm gonna serve you. Okay, you at your own home, you probably want to practice this, but when you're with me, when I'm here at your home, we're going to try to do this. Okay, try to make sort of like an agreement with them, because you can't say no to them 100%. Okay, because of course they think that they know better, or they're saying that you know, worse when you hear your parents saying things like, I'm not going to live much longer, let me enjoy the life, you know, let me eat cake. Okay, and you can't do anything about it, but you can try to help control the quantity, or probably want to say, okay, let's share. Okay, let's have a few bites. Okay, and probably keep this later on, you know, rather than just finish the whole slice in one sitting. Okay, try to I guess minimize. Okay, listen to them, hear what they want to say. if it has to do, it has something to do with food intake or activities that they do, but you know that it's not healthy, you know, like smoking, for example. Some parents at old age are still smoking, and you can't tell them, Dad, quit smoking. He has been smoking for 30, 40 years. It's not easy to quit just like that, isn't it? But you probably can establish sort of like agreement, as I said, you know, when you're at my house, don't smoke in front of the children, you know, that kind of thing. Now, you can't tell them to stop because it's very thin chance that they will stop at this old age, but you can help to minimize, okay? I hope that answers, Kitara.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Arfa. Okay, in the interest of time, we'll answer the remaining questions via email. I would like to thank everyone for being present here, for spending 1.5 hours with us on a weekend. And thank you, Ms. Arfa, for the very insightful information and the sharing session. We all truly appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for being here today. We appreciate your support and your presence. So without holding up much of your time, please do enjoy the rest of your weekend.